Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. Taking a quick look once again at Bitcoin. Just a little update there. Folks wanted to learn about liquidation levels and just some big picture stuff. We want to touch on that because we need to understand the larger movement stuff that's happening because there's no real key level resistances and supports based on smaller time frames because it just keeps running. All right. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for watching. Hope you can learn something here today. Quick look here, short liquidation levels. These are low leverage shorts, hedged at about 45,000. Upwards about 45,500. Okay, so I'm happy to see we don't have any high leverage shorts in the market. They're probably a little gun shy at this point, but we do have some longs here, some high leverage longs at 41K, some new high leverage longs at 42.5, and some late longs at about 43. Okay, so again, some levels there to be kind of mindful of. As per usual, we can see massive amount of shorts getting liquidated. They've been getting wrecked for about a week straight. We can see a significant amount of whale data here. Basically, whales are just controlling the market, pushing the price action up. A lot of micro strategy and everything just buying and buying and buying. Okay, this tends to happen in markets like these, especially with ETF on the horizon. Net longs versus shorts, last couple days, strong, heavy longs. Okay, and it's just kind of the average amount of aggregated across multiple exchanges. That is the delta. Take a quick look here at the last 7 days of open interest, and we'll be able to see that the open interest has probably changed a little bit. Still pretty heavy at about 42,000. Okay, so right there, 42,000, we have the most amount of longs, or shorts rather. They're probably both right there. Some shorts probably pretty underwater, if not already liquidated. We have some previous levels here. These are obviously longs, right there at about the 38.8. Okay, so again, we know that is an area of interest for a lot of folks before Bitcoin broke 40K. Taking a look here at the last 7 days of this. Let's quickly rerun this here. And just to note, we've got significant amount of shorts jumping in. Big surprise. Shorts are they're getting pretty hammered right now. So please try not to be one of those persons that keeps retrying to become that massive god short, where you short the top and you're 150x or something so you can brag on Twitter. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day because you're much more likely to find profit going up than down. Granted, there's going to be a point where we're going to hit that resistance level, but I don't think we're there yet. We're going to look at the macro here next so you understand what that looks like. That said, big picture here, 38,000, not that crazy to understand. A lot of longs are right there at 38,000, 40,000 even. And again, shorts are hedged right about 45.5. Okay, so if we see the price wick up to 45.5, it'll probably continue a little bit further. Now let's talk about this here. This is the bigger picture macro type of scenario here. And just to clarify, of course, all the moving averages are below the price action. We have no surprises there, right? But when we look at the monthly here, even the weekly, this kind of clarifies a few things. And I posted this yesterday, I think when we were at 42,000, that being a potential resistance. We can presume that 42,200 will be the new support level. Again, potentially. The weekly or monthly hasn't closed yet, so we're still a little premature in this assumption. But the truth here is that in any type of bull run, the last 3 of them we've looked at, I'll have to pull up a chart for you sometime. It is basically telling us that 0.618, 0.786 are the 2 levels that the price action will pull back on if you see that. Now, in other words, you can kind of see it here where the price action comes up, pulls back, and then ramps back up again to make a higher high. Okay, so if this push right here goes up to this level, we could expect it to pull back and then to ramp back up, or possibly even as low as 35.6 and come up a little bit higher, or sorry, 36,000 rather. So again, just a couple of scenarios there, but what I want you to take away from this is that 42.2 is a potential support level for us now, that we've blown straight through that. There's a lot of open interest at that level too, again, as we saw earlier, which definitely implies that people are trying to buy in at that level. And you look at the order books, a lot of orders are in the 42,000 range right now. And those are probably some pretty big numbers too. Again, institutions trying to buy the Bitcoin right now. 48,600 is the next key level resistance. So we've seen it previously here where there's been 3 months where the price action could not surpass that, and then we pretty much tanked at that point. Okay, so hindsight is not always 20/20, but in this scenario here gives us perspective that 48.6 range would be the next potential target with a slight potential of retrace to 42.5. 42.5 bounce up to 48.6 is a possibility here. All right, so just some back end stuff there for you. All right, take a quick look at the daily and work our way down. We just want to quickly note that we got to pull up our new fibs. And I mentioned this earlier too. These are weekly closes. So previous week close at 42.5. And of course, another previous week close about 47 even. So 47 could be the initial resistance. And we reverse our fibs. We'll be able to see, of course, at the price action, it's pretty close to that 1.618 level. All right, so let's go ahead and remove the fibs here just to get better perspective on what's going on. And what we want to do is maybe just wait for the candlesticks to close before we draw out some new fib levels. But at this point, what we can see here is the RSI, MACD, everything is solid. There's really nothing working against us here. We can look at stochastic RSI and notice that we are starting to hit that first divergence. So this could very well be a shift in momentum, but oftentimes I've noticed the second divergence is the one to pay attention to. In other words, this is the first one we might kind of retrace and consolidate. Second one is the one we want to make sure to understand and I guess respect. I don't think we're there yet. We are seeing a convergence here on the RSI as well to the upside, with the price action being above 70, well above 70. In fact, we're closer to 85. It's a massive overextension, right? But what do you know? The money flow index is equally as high, and we're seeing a ton of volume here. Again, we're staying above this moving average here. This is a 20-day simple moving average on the volume. That is an expectation to, well, the price will maintain itself as long as we continue to keep that volume there. Again, even if it comes below, it's not necessarily going to drop. But when you have situations like this, the price goes a little kind of dead or sideways. Those are a case in point where you want to kind of watch out. But right now, if you're shorting into this, I think you got you're kind of one of those crazy persons. Again, just some friendly advice. I don't mean any disrespect. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, last thing we kind of want to acknowledge, of course, moving averages are good. Pretty straightforward there. We hit an overextended state leading into this resistance level here at about 42.5. Now that we've broken that, we have potential of another, what is that, 28 hours of continuation before the price pulls back. I'm not saying it's going to run that long, but it very well could. And I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Convergence on the MACD, of course, so everything's looking pretty solid on the day, on the 4-hour time frame and the daily. We do have a fair value gap to be mindful of. Coincidentally, the fair value gap is perfectly in line with 42.5. So again, all the more reason why we could eventually see the price action fill that gap and bounce off 42.5. That to me is a key level. Take a look at the 1 hour. We can double check here a couple of things. Small little fair value gaps there, nothing to be really concerned with. TD sequential is going to tell us we're overextended. No surprise there. Hit a 9 on TD sequential when we're still running. Okay. This coin has a tendency of doing that, but we are hitting a somewhat of a plateau, so I wouldn't be surprised if we go a little bit range bound here over the next few hours and have something very similar to before. Okay. Last thing we want to look at here would be Ichimoku cloud. This is kind of just duh, right? But just to clarify, the cloud is starting to work itself out, average itself out close to that 42.5, 43,000 range. So it does reaffirm the fact that we have support at that 42.5 to 43,000 range. Okay. So lagging span is free and clear. Conversion lines above the baseline. Cloud is just way off in the distance. There's literally no reason to short into this. You might get lucky with a short down to this level. Don't get me wrong, that's possible. But statistically, you're going to have more risk going down than up at this point. Pretty much the same thing goes for most coins right now. And I know it sounds kind of funny because while we have a lot of longs open, we have one short open with Chainlink, as a matter of fact, but that's exuding different behavior. All right. Again, I try to pick my shorts carefully at this point. I like to hedge my longs with some shorts, but not too crazy. And I would recommend the same. Try not to get short heavy. Speaking of short heavy, we're not short heavy at all. We took some nice long from Crow, Avalanche, Dogecoin just today, Bitcoin as well as, well, multiple Bitcoin trades. Same with Bell, Near, Gala. Awesome. Premium Plus group here, we can see these are some scalping trades with Litecoin, Avalanche, and Ethereum, as well as more Avalanche and Matic trades. So the list goes on. I mean, people are just making a killing right now in our group, so I'm super happy. Thanks again so much for the wonderful feedback. Glad it's working well. It's not always going to be, just cranking on all cylinders. Again, bearish markets still make plenty of profit, just they're a little less often. This is all happening really fast because, of course, Bitcoin's running. So just be very careful when you take trades. Try not to overtrade. It's important to kind of limit yourself because some folks see, Tom, Dick, and Harry over here trading like crazy, and they think they can do the same thing. It's different qualities, different personalities, different risk management. A lot of things you got to learn. If you are part of my community, make sure you check my risk management section in my university videos. I think it's in the last chapter. Be sure to recognize that and read through that, just watch it multiple times until it sinks in. Last but not least, if you're not currently part of Bitunix Phenomenal Exchange, BingX right now, unfortunately, is requiring VPN. So if you don't want to do that whole dance and eventually be stuck with a KYC requirement, Bitunix has got you covered. Phenomenal Exchange, highly recommended. They are my favorite here so far, and I've used dozens of exchanges over the years. Thanks again so much for watching. I look forward to working with you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.